got a chance to see the first season of Sweetpea with Ella Purnell. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to talk about Sweetpea, and it's probably not a show anybody's really heard of. It was on Starz. I am a fan of Ella Purnell. I have not seen a whole bunch of stuff that she's in. Of course, Fallout is really the first time I've ever seen her face. And I know she's from Yellow Jackets, but I've never seen Yellow Jackets. I have to actually watch that. And on top of that, she was the voice of Jinx. So, I don't know if she was Powder's voice, but definitely Jinx. So I'm a big fan of hers. I know she's got these big bug eyes. But for some reason, when she turns the smolder on, man, it just really does it for me. So she's actually a very, very good actress, as you can tell from the Fallout series, where she's able to play both the little innocent girl, as well as the dangerous one, especially when she was dealing with the ghoul and stuff like that. So she's got these chops where you don't know which direction she's going to go in. And I really like that, the unpredictability of the choices that she makes as an actress. So Sweetpea, I shouldn't even been able to see this. There was a glitch on Prime where normally you only get the first episode for free, and then you have to go to Starz and you have to become a member of Starz to see the rest. But for some reason, I was able to go in and then come out of it and then go into it again, and it started up. I don't know. So I was able to see all 6 episodes, and I'm glad I did, because I would have been like, how is this gonna end? Not knowing it's a series and it's not gonna end anyway. But this is the story, kind of like Dexter. It's like a female Dexter. But where Dexter is very methodical about the murders that he plans and things like that, where this is just a mess, right? She just, whatever, whimsy she's at, that's what she does. And she is a little mousy girl, basically. And I think it should have been called. I think it's based on a book series, and she executive produced this as well. So her name does pop up in the executive producer level. So she was bullied as a kid in high school or whatever, and I think it should have been called People Who I Want to Kill, or something shorter than that. But Sweetpea doesn't really get across what it is, and she words those lines almost every episode, people I would like to kill. And I think that would be a more dynamic title and tell you more about what this is about, rather, and I hate these names that have no clue. You have no clue what this show is about based on that, right? Where like Dexter at least is the name of the character that does the killing, where here Sweetpea is the nickname that her boss gives her. And this is a show that was on, obviously it's a British show, and it was a show that aired last year in 2024, the end of 2024. So it's a good 6 months old now, which is probably why maybe I was able to see it. I don't know, because it did first tell me that I had to pay for it. But anyway, again, this is a British show, and she's bullied as a child, and her bully, she dreams about killing this bully. And, it was like the mean girl situation. And whenever she gets nervous, she yanks on her hair to the point where she was pulling out all her hair, and she had to wear a wig. She idolized her father, and by the beginning of the show, her father is dead, just died. And he had a business of like a remodeling business, and she was living in her house. Her sister lives somewhere else abroad, and I don't know what country she lives in, but her and her sister don't get along for the most part. Her sister is more successful, I believe, so she feels unseen. She wants to be a reporter. She works for the Gazette, but she's only a receptionist, and she takes a lot of shit from everybody. So once she actually does a murder, and it's like she has her father's knife that she opens the letters with at work, and since she was bullied, she has an affinity for bullies. So when bullies start appearing in her life, it's almost like a trigger reaction to the point where she has to do something about it. And she gets one of them alone, and that's the end of that. The knife comes out, and then she gets a taste for it. So that's what I find very interesting. And we get to see a kill in the first episode, so it doesn't waste any time. So we get to see the character, introduction to the character, development of the character, and then we were already getting into what the show is about in the pilot, which is great. It's very well done for that. And again, the acting is phenomenal. And so here's basically the cast of characters. So you have Julia, which is the bully. That's the target. That's the end target. So she's almost gearing up for that. Meanwhile, her sister wants her to sell the house that she's in because it's the father's house and she wants to split the money. Great sister. Then on top of that, Julia, which is the bully, has now turned into a realtor, and she wants to buy the house and remodel it. So now she's going to be living at her house. So it's like every little thing that could possibly happen to her happens. And then there's a guy that wants to buy the business. And then she has a guy at work, which she's kind of mean to. He's a junior reporter. But only that's basically your cast of characters. And then there's her boss, Norman, who is not really a bad guy. He's just a little bit aloof. So naturally, when these murders start happening and she wants to be a reporter, it's kind of like the Peter Parker thing where he's like, oh, I'll get pictures of Spider-Man. Oh, I'll report on my own freaking murders. Very, very smart. Very smart. Anyway, before we continue, remember that I am a writer myself. If you'd like to read anything that I've written, you can just go to Amazon, type my name in, or there's a link in the description below. And you can check out my 4-novel series that's sci-fi. That's called Destiny Aurora. It was made into a board game, an RPG. It's also on Audible. It's also on Kindle. All my books are on Kindle. And then you have my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. And on top of that, definitely jump into my new comic book. It's on Kickstarter right now. We haven't launched yet, but we're in pre-launch. We're about to break 400 people. I think we need like 12 people. We need like a dozen people to break 400 followers. So definitely check that out. It's called Fairy Tales of Terror. I have Cinderella in it. There's Captain Hook in it. They're being chased around New York because they're committing murders by Tiger Lily from Neverland. It's going to be lots of fun. Definitely check that out. I even gave Captain Hook his own fairy like Tinkerbell, except she's a fire fairy. Anyways, so it's going to be bloody and gory and funny and all that stuff combined. And definitely check that out. You can go to the QR code over here or there's a link in the description below. All right, let's jump back into Sweetpea. So I really like the development of this character, but again, the only reason I don't think she gets caught in the beginning is because she doesn't look the part, right? she looks too innocent. She looks kind of mousy. And the people she's killing are these big guys. So it just doesn't equate. But there is one female detective on her trail. So there's that. So I'm not going to really go into spoilers. But those are the cast of characters, because you also have this detective that's trying to figure it out. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that happens throughout this thing, and a lot of mistakes that were made that she has to try to cover up. And so it has some humor to it, and it has a little bit of horror to it, and it has a little sweetness to it, and it has a little crazy to it. Because, like, in the end, she is a little crazy. But I got to say that the acting is good. I think the casting is pretty good as well. Julia, I don't know. I might have cast somebody else as the mean girl rather than Julia. Her name is Nicole with a little snippet over it. I don't know how to say that. It's like NICO with a line LE. And Nicole, I don't know how to say it. Nicole? I don't know. How does that accent work? I'm not sure. But besides Ella Purnell, there's nobody in here recognizable to the American audience. Now, I don't know if these people are all famous in London or in Great Britain, but to me, I didn't recognize anybody besides her. But I like the writing, I think, on here is extremely good. It will keep you fixed on it. You're going to have to find out what happens in the next episode. So it definitely kept me coming back for more over and over and over again to the sixth one. And then, of course, what happens in the sixth one, it ends on a cliffhanger. So it does. There is on IMDb, it does show that we are going to get a season 2. It just doesn't say when. So for all I know. But then again, you'd have to get Starz, I think, to see it. So I don't know. But I think that Ella Purnell did an amazing job here. And it definitely, I think, shows even more range for her than she had in Fallout. And I think she had some range in Fallout. Because, again, she got into battle. She was the naive, girl. It's got that same type of thing here, except more extremes, I think. But yeah, I definitely suggest checking it out. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 because it was so engaging. Definitely check it out. I will be seeing Superman this weekend. I do have to go to Florida, so I would normally go tomorrow. But I was going to try to go at 2 o'clock before I went to Florida, but now I got to possibly have a meeting tomorrow with some producers and some investors for a Liam Neeson movie. So we'll see. If there's a movie's at 2:45, and if I get out by 4 or 5 o'clock, and it's a 7-hour drive down to Florida, so I don't know. I wouldn't get there until like 3 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see. If not, then I'll see it when I'm in Florida, which means I wouldn't get the review out until Sunday night or something to that effect. But anyway, but I will. But people have asked me already to review Superman, because considering that everybody is so divided on it right now. Most of the reviews I saw was that it was meh. It was that middle of the road, not good, not bad, and then on top of that. I have not been asked to see Fantastic Four, but I'm not going to go see Fantastic Four. I'm done. I'm done with Marvel. So I will not be seeing that film at all. I don't know who really is. I don't know who's even talking about it right now, but whatever. All right. So I'll see you guys on a Superman review. I did not even pick up my comics today either, so there's that. All right. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I will see you guys on the next episode. All right. Bye-bye.